comic industry is going through another phase of, I don't know, anger, the death throes. I've heard it called many things. Ultimately, here's how I think this played out. First, you might remember, I made a video about this, but Dynamite Comics canceled Cecil's cover. The fact that they were even doing any work with Cecil, Ethan Van Sciver, anybody that the far left activists in comics have deemed evil people, the fact that they were already doing business, that made people upset. Far left activists in the comic book industry, it made them upset. Okay, so the thing was, though, that they were tolerating it. Once that Cecil cover, everyone threw a fit, and Dynamite Comics bent the knee, and they caved in to activists because they're scary. Because of that, now everyone's emboldened, and everyone, all these activists are trying their darndest. They're grabbing at anything they possibly can to cancel anyone that they can. They then went for Jay Lee, because Jay Lee did two covers for Cyberfrog books. Okay, because of that, Tom, what's his name? Tom King. I can't even remember the guy's name. One of the richest guys in comics, one of the biggest names, I don't know why, in comics, decided that he wanted to end Jay Lee's career. Who, by the way, Jay Lee is an Asian man. Okay? If they cared so much about diversity, they would, see those as boundaries and respect them. They don't. This is not actually about diversity. They want you to believe that it is. It is not. No matter how many times they say it over and over and over, this is just the culture war. This is the equivalent of screeching, skinny jean wearing Antifa in the streets, turning trash cans over and starting fires and throwing bricks through windows. This is the equivalent. The same people, they actually support the same organizations. This is what is happening in the comic book industry. Here's Tim Doyle, a self-proclaimed Antifa supporter, who also happens to work in comics and strangely have an awful lot of power. Why? Because he scares people. He says, it would have been great for Tom to do this privately. Speaking of Tom King, sure, but whether Jay knew about CG before or not, he knows now. And Tom pointing out Jay was working with a hate group is not Tom's fault. Jay's response is lacking and manipulative. I don't give a care about his dead dog regardless of this. Tim Doyle is a jerk and an activist. Why is the comic book industry letting guys like this run? Why is he allowed to determine what goes in the comic book industry? Why? Because the comic book industry is full of cowards who are afraid of people like Tim Doyle. Okay, Gail Simone said herself that she likes Nick Barucci. She considered him family. And then what does Gail Simone do? She decides that while she is allowed to work at Dynamite, it really disappoints her that someone like Ethan Van Sciver, someone who she also worked with, by the way, he has no right to do business with Nick Barucci. Okay. Because she works with Dynamite and everyone wants to cancel Dynamite, she's feeling pressure from these same rabid activists that she's always throwing biscuits. She's always highlighting them. She's afraid of them as well. And so she put out this statement that actually, when you read it, is the most lukewarm thing I have ever seen in my life. Basically, that she hopes that Nick Barucci does the right thing. Who knows what kind of pressure she's putting on Nick behind the scenes. It's ridiculous. Why on earth is someone like Gail Simone in charge of the comic book industry? Why is she, who weaponizes her social media following, why does she get to decide who gets to work in comics and who gets to do business with whom? All right, Renfamous. I know everyone gets upset when I bring up Renfamous. You guys have to understand, this is one anonymous weirdo left-wing activist on Twitter that for some reason has control of the comic book industry. She says whatever she wants, and Guys like Joe Quesada, everyone in the comic book industry listens to what she says. Don't tell me there's not a blacklist. It's created by left-wing activists, and they control the comic book industry. They do it out in the open. There's no more whisper network. It is out in the open. It's public. Go look it up. Okay? They control the comics media as well. And if you dare publish an article against them in any kind of news site, they will blacklist you. They'll call you a member of the alt-right. They're insane. They're controlling the entire industry. All right. Guy with too much time says alt-right. How do you know the artist is alt-right? Guess who they're talking about? This is an artist who's actually Muslim. She does great work, and she's doing work on Peregrine. She's doing work on, I think she's the colorist for Battle Brick Road. Could be wrong. She's doing a lot of coloring work. Gets along with everybody, professional. Everyone has great things to say about her. I think she's got so much work that she can't even take on anymore. That's how good she's doing. Okay, but let me show you this other one first. Actually, here we go. Here's the art in question. Now, the line art was done by somebody, and the colors were done by someone else. Here's Remfamous saying a significant number of Comicsgate campaigns. One colorist who I don't think is aware she's working for a hate group. She did this one too. She's actually really good. I'm going to reach out to her in the next week or two just to clue her in, to tell her that she's working with a hate group, which, by the way, is a lie. It is a lie. Everyone in the industry knows it is a lie, and that's the sickening part. They know it's a lie, but they're going to say it anyway because they're afraid of people like Remfamous. Okay, here's Remfamous again. I agree, which is why I refrain from using my powers to have the art itself purged from the internet and subsequently made unavailable for sale via Indiegogo. She actually believes that she has enough power to destroy people's career, and because she believes she does, the industry will believe her as well, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Why is it that the entire industry uses the term hate group? Do you know what a hate group is? A hate group is like the KKK. They're going to say that even though they know it's not true, because they're afraid of an actual group. They don't have a name. They're on the internet. They're on Twitter specifically, and they want to control your industry with their left-wing politics. This is digital Antifa terrorism. That's what it is. And they don't want you to work in comics. You don't have a place in comics. They're going to say it's about forced diversity. And someone was asking this question. Part of the problem is there's so many straw man arguments out there. I think there are some good faith people that want to discuss, hey, the whole politics and comics thing, what does that mean? This is getting conflated. You have to realize there are people with all sorts of varying opinions. I've already made my opinion on this clear. It's not about diversity in comics. It's about you using diversity as a weapon in comics. It's about, the X-Men were always a story that anybody could relate to until the day came that left-wing activists decided that the X-Men really was symbolic of their fight. It meant one thing. Therefore, no one can relate to it. It has now become some kind of allegory. It's become scripture for the far left. And that's what they see this as. If anytime they can canonize their own political opinions into comic books, they see that as a win. They see it as a platform for them to express their politics. Why? Because they believe their politics are more important than the story or the art. Okay? You can have politics in art. Art can explore politics. But what art should do is allow the viewer, the reader, the person experiencing the art to interpret it however they want, however they choose. That's what art is. You are making propaganda. And when people push back and have a problem with that, you try to discredit them by calling them a hate group. You try to personally attack them. You try to get them fired. And this has happened over and over and over again. It is happening. The comic book industry has been taken over. And you know what? Most of us that are blacklisted from the industry don't care anymore. We're happy to make our own books. That's not enough. because of Dynamite backing down, there's blood in the water, and they are doing anything they absolutely can to prevent your comics from being made, to prevent you from buying any comics other than what they've prepackaged for you. This is disgusting, and it's not wrong to speak out against this. In fact, I think it's right. I am compelled to, and I think there are many other people out there that are as well. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. I'm going to keep my eye on this situation. How can I not? Uh, Man, I don't know. It's a depressing time in comics. They're trying to make everyone miserable, just like themselves. The good news is they don't get a choice. We all get to make comics no matter what. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.